The man tossing it, Carl Hess. Ohio State and Florida for the national championship. And Hess worked the first game, Billy, back December 23rd in Gainesville. The one won by the Gators convincingly, 86-60. That's Horford taking the jumper outside, and Lewis with the rebound as the Buckeyes boxed.
The first thing we saw there, they were playing man-to-man Ohio State, and Oden did not come out to try to help out and stay away from foul trouble where he's been in trouble going outside on the perimeter defensively.
Quick shot by Lewis. He struggled with his shot at this Cavernous Arena on Saturday. It's Noah working on Harris. They're not going to count the basket, but they're going to whistle the call against the senior from Springfield, Ohio, Harris.
Jim, this is why I thought Ohio State would start in a zone, because Harris has given up an awful lot of size to Noah. It's a tough matchup. Noah's down inside, easy on Lewis now.
It could have been maybe an easy get there, but a steal instead. It's Conley with Humphrey trying to defend, and the first points of the championship game to the Buckeyes of Ohio State. Brewer right back, the wing, and he bangs home a three.
Just as he did the other night, a tremendous start for Brewer. Brewer is going to be on Lewis. So Green and Conley.
And another whistle down low. And this call is against Horford.
How about this? Richard off the bench immediately.
Yeah, they rotate those three with Richard coming off the monster performance. 7 of 7 from the field against UCLA, 16 points.
But Jim, that's something I didn't want to see early in the game. The referees calling ticky-tack fouls in tight. Got to let the big guys play at talent level here.
Didn't want to see that Saturday either, but they certainly monitored that one a little too close for my comfort. Here's Harris, and he hits the three.
And Jim, how about Conley? Takes it inside, never is in a hurry. As Coach Wooden always said, be quick, but don't hurry. Well, he personifies that perfectly.
The high give to Noah. Work it outside. Brewer gonna launch it again. And two Buckeyes battling for it. Oden saves it.
Good hustle by the big man.
Well, this issue you talk about, Billy, will they let the big guys play? That really the biggest concern on the floor. That would have to be for Ohio State. And can Oden stay in the game this time?
Well, you can see what Richard's doing. I think Billy Donovan said if they're going to call it tight, they're going to bring Richard in there quickly, and maybe I can use 3 or 4 fouls on Richard before I bring Horford back in the ball game.
Oden with only 20 foul-plagued moments or minutes in the game against Georgetown. He misses his first attempt here tonight. Green, short. Green really beat him up pretty good in the game at Gainesville. Had 24 to top the Gators.
He did, but he did not have a good game against UCLA. Collison gave him all kinds of trouble.
Great job defensively that time as Noah tried to go up with it, and Harris took it away. Lewis hoping to find his shot, but not this time. Stolen by Noah.
Got numbers.
Humphrey have to give it up here as he drives in for the layup.
You know, Humphrey is not a guy that's a big finisher. I think Harris should have tried to go and block that shot. It'd be one thing if you got Brewer on the wing or you've got Noah on the wing, but you're not going to have a finish by Humphrey. That was blockable. Richard really using that body on the inside on Oden.
It's Harris again, this time for the senior. Green comes down low for the rebound. A lot of speed in that little matchup. Point guards, Brewer, turns, twist, miss. And again, Harris very active on that end of the floor.
He was. Noah should have been ready to go ahead and rebound that from the weak side, and there goes the man again.
Conley goes the distance.
Noah's exhausted right now. He's trying to get a second breath. He's looking for Billy Donovan to get him out of there. He's really winded right now. But Donovan already has taken Horford out. He doesn't want to take Noah out at this point.
Going to bring in Walter Hodge. Horford's going to come back in as well. Called that foul on Conley. And trying to repeat. Oklahoma State the first to do so. Duke the last. And of course, that 1960 stretch that spilled into the 70s for UCLA, that's beyond description.
Yeah, there's some real people there. Bob Curlin, the great first big man in college basketball, leading Oklahoma State. Coach Iba, he was the guy that got it all started with repeats.
Not with the long shot. Curlin is here tonight in attendance. Was here for the Hall of Fame announcement earlier today as Roy Williams of North Carolina Was one of those announced going in. There's Oden with a little finger roll, and the big center is on the board.
And there, people said, well, you know, I wonder how he liked using the left hand while he couldn't use the right. He showed you how right there. It's been amazing how he has changed now that he's got two hands, but his stats are about the same as the game goes on. We'll get into that a little bit. You notice how he's not coming out on a hedge move.
Green gets by. There's no one there for the last stand.
Now, that is something that Billy Donovan has picked up right away. Oden normally comes out there to help when there's a solid screen on the guard. He's not doing it now, so it allows Green to go right over that solid screen inside. But they don't want Oden getting in trouble on the perimeter.
Harris jammed over to Butler. Down low, Lewis. Humphrey trying to defend, and he got him from behind. We reach our first break. The national championship game is underway. Conley has 4. Brewer hits another one from the outside. He was boxing out. Did you notice that? And Conley sitting down, Billy, coming out of this break. They bring in Daquan Cook, a freshman, top 6 man in the Big Ten this year. Good hands by Oden. Brewer now reaches in.
Is he quick? Oden not used to seeing a guy 6'9" that quick out on him. As I said, Brewer can guard any 5 players on the floor.
Great shot by Hodge. Now they take Conley out with Hodge on the floor. And
you know, Jim, guys are sitting in, and Florida goes to a 2-3 zone even before. And Thad Matta said, no, I don't want to see this zone. He was going to call a timeout. His players didn't recognize him.
Oden was down here signaling for it for a couple of seconds. Had the timeout signal high in the air. They've also brought in, talking about the Buckeyes, Othello Hunter, 45, and this man passing it is David Lighty, coming off a big 25-minute performance against Georgetown. Block shot.
That was Brewer blocking an Oden shot from distance. Jim, he's listed at 6'9", and he's every bit that. But with his arm span, he's almost a 7-footer on the floor.
That's Horford. And on Hunter, trying to out-muscle him, and Oden able to just grab a flat-footed rebound.
Hunter, another guy with a long wingspan.
Lighty goes corner, but he is fouled on the pass. And Noah's about to check back in to the Gator lineup.
Well, we've got 3 freshmen on the floor. We've had a situation with 5 freshmen in a championship game with that Fab 5 of Michigan, Jim. You remember 2 years in a row they made it as freshmen with 5 on the floor. The only champion that ever had 4 freshmen on the floor was that Utah squad back in 1944. So Ohio State playing plenty of freshmen out here.
Well, that Fab 5 team in Michigan, of course, Duke beat them, and that was the last time we had back-to-back championships by a team as Cook scores on the inside. Cook did not have a good game on Saturday, Billy, but gets a confident start there. He missed a bunch of outside shots against the Hoyas.
Jim, but he is a young man that can score. He had 6 20-point games in the first 13 games Ohio State played this year.
Now Noah. He draws the foul on Hunter.
This is the best matchup, though, that Ohio State can have with Hunter and Oden down low.
Near the end of this game, we'll select a Chevrolet player of the game from each team, and to honor their determination and outstanding play, Chevrolet makes a $1,000 contribution to each university's general scholarship fund. America's brand supporting America's best. Chevy, an American Revolution. 2 coming for Noah.
There is that sidewinder shot of the MOP from last year. Jim, look up at the scoreboard. 13:38 to go. Oden is on the floor and doesn't have a foul. Which, you remember that the other day? It was 1 minute and 38 seconds.
Had 2.
He was sitting on the floor with sitting on the bench with 2. Good sign for Ohio State.
He averaged only 7 minutes, Billy, of playing time in the first halves of the last 3 games. So
you see how Florida now trying to get a little bit of defensive pressure. Tough to get it on this man.
Now Brewer, he's taking one away from Oden. He was trying to strip Conley this time. He's doubled up.
And that's that width of Brewer, even for a guy like Conley, making it tough to get a passing angle.
Boy, Oden wants it. He's got Noah on his back, and that's going to be one on Noah.
The game is being called very close on the inside. Now, what Billy Donovan is trying to get it to be called close on the other end of the floor. Oden doing a really good job tonight, staying out of foul trouble. But one of the things I think is available on the other end, if Oden's not going to come out to help on those solid screens, they're going to be jump shots for Ohio State.
Oh, this is going to be one against Ohio State for pushing off, trying to gain position. It's a second on Hunter.
A lot of touch fouls down in low. Referees not letting them play at all. The coaches and the players are going to have to respect that.
Brings in Matt Terwilliger. You know, this is something today. Bill Walton, the great, who was here tonight as just a super fan, great supporter of college basketball. He said, you know, Billy, they went to 3 officials so many years ago, but they didn't up the number of fouls. We got Brewer hurt.
Brewer's down.
He's down on the baseline. Tremendous pain.
He really is in pain. You know what this reminds me of? A player of Brewer's status, Bobby Wilkerson, going down in 1976 for Indiana when Bob Knight had an undefeated team ready to go for a national championship.
Watch the right side of your screen here, Billy. As Brewer coming through.
Just kind of gets an inadvertent elbow by Oden. Nothing intentional whatsoever.
You know, he's walking it off now.
Of course, you get hit by a man that's 276 pounds right in the chest, it'll hurt.
I was going to say, though, they went to 3 officials in college basketball, you know, good 15 years ago, but they did not up the number of fouls. You know, the Big East for a while experimented with 6.
And that hurt their confidence.
Is it time, though, for that to be a consideration? You got another set of eyes, people out there trying to justify their job. They're calling things so tightly as Humphrey takes his first attempt.
I've never understood why a guy has to be taken out of the game anyway. It doesn't happen in any other sport.
I mean, never a maximum number of fouls.
Just go ahead and play. And maybe give an extra penalty bonus for a foul shot for the fouls he commits thereafter.
Here's Oden. Over Horford. Traveled first.
Traveled, but a pretty good move, and give Horford some credit for not pushing or trying to block the shot.
Brewer back in, so it was just a momentary injury for Brewer. Shakes it off.
And how about Thad Matta talking to him, hoping that he's okay. Great sportsmanship sign here by Thad.
And the Florida starting 5 back on the floor.
Again, if Horford sets a screen, now watch what happens. Oden does not come out, so Green can get jump shots. Again, see, he can get the jump shot.
Oh, and he was fouled in the act of a 3.
This can be an offense all to its own for Florida. Set screens by Horford. Oden's not coming out. You get a jump shot very easily.
We got, more notably, though, the second foul on Conley. So the first one to get in a little foul trouble. No one serves college sports fans better than CSTV, the 24-hour college sports network from CBS Sports. To get CSTV, go to CSTV.com. So 2 on Conley, Billy, and that's rather large with 12:16 still to go in the first half.
Jim, the reason it's a foul on Conley, he's not getting help on the big guy in the hedge move to stop that. So he tries to fight his way over the screen, and doing that picks up the foul. So in an attempt to save Oden, it's really putting the guards in jeopardy.
Of course, Butler's going to come in, and he has all kinds of experience, Billy, playing the point prior to this year.
Absolutely.
So one more shot for Green. Again, he was fouled in the act of a 3-point attempt.
Green had a great game against Ohio State. He was 9 for 12 in that ball game, showed tremendous leadership, 24 points. And Jim, but in that first game, 86-60, that score is not indicative of how well the Buckeyes played up to a point. Then there was a 33-9 run by Florida, and that was the ball game.
That game was 40-40 with 17 minutes to go in the game.
Right.
And then in the words of Thad Matta, we just panicked. We caved in, but we learned from it, made us better. As you see, Hodge got a hand in there to get the steal. Horford up ahead to him, and one.
Ohio State has kept Oden out of foul trouble, but they haven't kept the guy that's even more of a key in a ball game like this, Conley, out of foul trouble. And you can see what Florida's doing. They're taking advantage of some shaky ball handling.
That's on Conley's replacement. Butler's a starter, but Butler just came in, returned for him, and Butler picks up his first. Hodge has a chance at the 3-point play.
You can't say enough for Conley's ability to handle the ball and set up the Ohio State offense. As I said, #1 assist in the Big Ten, #1 in assist turnover ratio in the Big Ten. His presence really missed now.
Florida on a 12-2 run.
Great move by Billy Donovan to press against this team that's losing their major ball handler.
Down the lane and laying it in. It's Lighty.
Has he come alive in this tournament, Jim?
Oh, I'm telling you, he's gained confidence every game. Had that really big 3-point play just with a 1/10 of a second to go in the half before the Tennessee game reached the half. It was a 20-point deficit when he made it, gave a little boost. Of course, they came all the way back to win by 1. What a job he did on Jeff Green, the Big East Player of the Year Saturday. Here's Noah from the free throw line.
Not his shot. He likes to go ahead and take the ball to you with a dribble, then score inside, left alone from 15 feet. He's not going to hurt you. There's the 2-3 zone. When they don't score, they go back to their zone.
Butler, he wants it from the wing.
Good shooter.
And Brewer able to wrestle for the rebound.
Not only get the rebound, but then he can push it up the floor. Good hustle by Oden.
Oden got down the floor to prevent the pass inside to Noah. But the Gators have a big stretch going here. Gators 6 of 6 from the line. Buckeyes have not had an attempt to this point. Billy Donovan took his team on a retreat, Billy, over Labor Day weekend. Qualified as an international trip. He told his guys, next year, it's going to be all about managing distractions. We are not defending anything. We're not the defending champions. They'll never take that away from us. We can go 0-29. They're never going to take that banner down. And that's been their attitude really all season long. This has nothing to do with what happened last year. We're not defending it.
Jim, that was a good long timeout for Greg Oden. He was extremely tired, had played 10 straight minutes without a foul. But he's going to be playing against 3 people tonight with Richard coming off the bench. He's out there and he's on him right now. Great block.
Brings it right down and Brewer hits the deck. He just stuffed it with 2 hands.
And he's all alone inside. Cook misses him. That would have been a big boost for Ohio State. Great pass out.
That's Butler. 3. Down and out. Butler's shot tipped around by Odom. Eventually Green. Quick passing. Brewer from the corner. Yes, a second 3 on the night.
That extra pass, Jim, always works in the game of basketball. This team is completely unselfish. They have 5 1,000-point scores in that starting lineup. They have all 5 guys averaging double figures from 10-2 to 13-3. They'll give up the ball.
It's amazing the spread. It's so minimal for all 5 players in the scoring average. And they all went over 1,000 within just a matter of weeks of one another. Here's Oden backing in, doubled up and dunks.
Oden having an outstanding ball game and really outstanding. We take consideration we're at the 9:30 mark. He does not have a foul on him, and he's been able to play these continuous minutes, playing actually against 3 different matchups. But there's what's available.
I thought for sure he'd pick up a foul on that one that turned out to be a magnificent block.
Well, he went up with 2 hands and used a body. There's Richards trying to pick up a foul on him.
And he does. Oden this time reaching in.
He's getting a little tired.
You can watch exclusive live video from Amen Corner at the Masters Amen Corner Live, plus play-by-play coverage of the entire field throughout the tournament 1 hour prior to telecast. Masters Extra. CBSSportsline.com/Masters Live and Masters.org. Atlanta, here the site, is the home of Bobby Jones. And this week, of course, the course that he built just 2.5 hours down the road. The Masters coming up.
Jim, interesting foul shooting. You think it's such a critical aspect of the game. The #1 foul shooting team in the country was Villanova. Ohio State was 129th in the country. Florida, they found themselves even further down the line in foul shooting. They were 175th in the year. You've got to go all the way back to 1952. Kansas's national championships, the last team that led the nation in foul shooting. It was also the national champ.
Billy, they brought in Conley during the free throws. So on the floor with the 2 fouls.
I'm surprised they haven't picked up full court like they were before with Brewer on Conley.
Back to the starting 5 for the Buckeyes, or as some know it, the Thad 5. Coach doesn't like that. He preferred to know it as the Thad 12 as Oden shot rolls off the front of the rim. Made a nice move, and somehow that just hung up there forever.
But look at how valuable Richard is. He's playing Oden, and Billy Donovan knows he's got 5 fouls to give there. He also is trying to beat him down the floor to wear him out. Big advantage to Florida.
Oden better be careful here. That's going to be a travel call against Richard. They did what they wanted. They worked it down low to Richard on Oden.
And you know what was interesting there? I was watching Billy Donovan. Even though it was a travel, he shook his head to Oden. Good play. He wants to make Oden have to work. And Oden's going to have to come out.
For the first time.
Terrific job on his part. He doesn't want to come out either. Look at him. Showing some real heart here.
Goes out with 4 points, 4 rebounds. Terwilliger takes his position. And Noah, meanwhile, also comes back in. Gators just keep shuttling in that rotation. Fresh bodies down low.
What control. Now he knows he's got a man he can beat.
And to take the 3. Long rebound out to Harris.
Jimmy took the 3, but he's only made 23s on the whole year.
Here's Butler. Here's Conley. Backing away. Now going into Terwilliger. Tries to whip it. Does. Butler back out high. Harris, 3.
Ohio State has got to make those threes. I thought Noah touched that last, but that's not the case.
That was off Terwilliger. Ohio State, Billy, only 1 of 7 from behind the arc. Oden, 1 foul so far. Good start. He's on the bench for the first time. Ohio State's last appearance in the championship game, 1962. 5 years before Thad Matta was born. It's been, in fact, 12,795 days ago. Towards Florida, back-to-back years.
Terrific first half by this young man, playing consecutive minutes, staying out of foul trouble, doing a good job offensively and defensively. Looks like he's asking Matta to go back in the ball game after that rest.
He's going to go check in. Billy, Ohio State played in the first ever national championship game, 1939.
Lost that game to Oregon.
To the tall Furs as Horford uses the left hand off the glass.
And Thad Matta can't get Oden back in the ball game quickly enough.
Florida now with its largest lead. The gap is 8. Conley whips down low, goes out high. Boy, he can find a way through traffic, though.
He really can. Terwilliger should have been ready to take a little jump shot there. He had a wide open foul shot, really.
And Lewis struggling offensively, but not with that move. That is right past it in the area of Noah.
You know, I think he surprised Noah there with a layup on that side of the basket. I think Noah was waiting for him to go up and under and ready to make the block. Caught him off guard. Yeah, caught him off guard. Humphrey has not been able to get off a jump shot tonight, and I think he can get one if they set a solid screen on his man. There's where Noah wants to operate from.
No call underneath. Harris. Bounce pass to Williams. What an assist.
Jimmy is always under control. He dribbles so low to the floor, keeps those eyes up. He really understands not only where his 4 teammates are, but what the defense is presenting to him. Just a terrific guard.
You see why the freshman set the all-time Ohio State single season mark for assist as Terwilliger hammers Horford. And he'll head to the line for a couple. And Oden will be coming back in on the floor now. Billy, how about his early play?
I think it's been outstanding, particularly in the fact that he's overcome foul trouble and he showed great stamina playing the first 12 minutes without getting any substitution at all. Jim, I mentioned about him, he did not play in the first 6 games of the year. Then he played the next 20 games left-handed, averaged 15.5 points and 61% field goals and 62% foul shooting left-handed. Now he comes back for the last 10 games, and he averages almost exactly the same thing playing two-handed. But I think the fact that he played against stronger competition, certainly at the end of the Big Ten schedule, and what he's done in the tournament, it's just kind of amazing that he played as a one-handed player and had those kind of stats.
He's in for Terwilliger, and Noah takes a seat as Richard returns. 1 of 2 for Horford. Ohio State, with Oden down briefly, had a +2 gain on the Gators.
And you can see what Billy Donovan's doing. He's going to have Richards playing him all the time, bang him, push him, hold him, try to get fouls on him.
There he is, Richard. Beautiful defense. A little flat.
And a great block out by Richards. You notice he didn't try to go for the rebound. His job is to keep Oden off the offensive rebound.
Here's again what they want. Horford trying to draw something.
Fadeaway shot, not blocked, but altered by Oden.
5th rebound by Oden. Harris, he'll take it, and he gets a second one on the night. They call him microwave because he can heat up quickly, and he's showing some signs at both ends of the floor tonight of being very productive.
Yep, he had 5 of 8 threes for 17 points against North Carolina early in the year.
And Humphrey hits the 3, the all-time NCAA tournament leader in 3-point baskets. He made that mark on Saturday, surpassing Bobby Hurley. 44 now in his career in tournament play.
That's a breakdown mentally by Conley. You got to get on Humphrey, make him drive to the basket. Oden again on a favorite offensive maneuver.
As Richard with the elbow in his back. And for Richard, that's going to be his second. Tonight, Dave's bringing his A game to the Late Show. with stupid human tricks. And a whole lot more tonight on Dave.
But Jim, we're not seeing stupid human tricks right now. What we're seeing is Billy Donovan trying to get Richards in a situation where he's swapping fouls with Oden. Look at Richards. All he's doing is blocking out, keeping a body on him, trying to wear him down.
Noah brings down the Butler misfire from the corner.
Billy Donovan would like to have Horford and Noah foul-free and with good resources. Here he goes again, just trying to get a foul on him.
And a block by Oden, his second. It's Oden the first time these two played. It was pretty fresh on his comeback. And Brewer, a difference maker again. He's got now 3 from the outside tonight.
Jim, beautiful follow-through on that shot. We had the perfect angle on it. He stayed right with it. Just a great play on his part.
He's got 3 of the 4 Gator shots from outside. Humphrey the other.
4 of 5 threes against UCLA the other day. Look at who's playing Oden, Brewer.
And that's Harris unable to make another one from out there.
Oden's getting tired, Jim. He's having a hard time getting back up and down the floor.
And you had to wonder if that might be the case for as long as he went at the start.
Yep.
Almost 12 minutes. Here's Green. That's a 3. And Florida has a double-digit lead.
Thad Matta needs a timeout. He's going to take one. His team is extremely tired that he has on the floor right now.
7 different Florida players have scored, and Green's three-pointer puts them up 11. Jim Nance with Billy Packer here at the Georgia Dome, and coming up, AT&T at the half. Greg, Clark, and Seth. First half analysis, plus Dick Enberg will have some first-hand observations on this year's NCAA tournament and the awarding of the AT&T Naismith Player of the Year coming up on AT&T at the half. We noted in the under 12 timeout coming out of that, Billy, and the trend continues at the free throw line. You talk about the disparity here. No attempts still for the Buckeyes, 10 for Florida.
I think that's Thad Matta's strategy somewhat, because Florida had 28 attempts against Butler, 43 against Oregon, and 31 against UCLA. So if you're going ahead and scouting these teams, say, guys, we got to keep them off the foul line. So instead of maybe that block early in the game, remember I talked about Humphrey? Maybe that has been the strategy. Let's keep them off the line, even though they're not a great free throw shooting team. Conley on a hesitation.
That shot off and retrieved by Oden.
Yes,
watch him play. Here's Lewis with Brewer in his face. Conley inside.
Noah
puts it back. Noah had a hand in there to influence the Conley shot, but Oden aggressively went after it again.
All that started by Conley going ahead and penetrating on the inside. And Jim, you know, that floater shot of his, as you pointed out, he shoots it to try to make it. But he knows that Oden and he are so used to playing against each other that Oden is going to be there for the offensive rebound if he misses it.
That ended a 9-point run by the Gators. They've had a 12-point run and a 9-point run already. Horford. Noah tip.
Horford and Noah, neither one has a field goal in this ball game.
Harris again underneath, giving them another presence inside, but it's Brewer picks his pocket. No one's going to catch him.
And there is the one thing that Conley cannot overcome, and that is being defended by a 7-footer who's quick enough to stay in front of him. Those long arms of Brewer are amazing.
Brewer with 11 points. The lead is 11.
Now it's Noah on Oden inside. Look at the intensity.
Awesome to watch. And they're going to call the foul first. No basket. The eyes of Noah as he was defending.
He loved that challenge. That's one thing you like about him. He is a competitor supreme.
That's the second on Noah. Billy, look at how Oden's stacking up against the 2 big guys from Florida.
We don't have Richard included. His picture could be over here. Jimmy's played 16 of the 18 minutes. Now that's something very unusual for him. Give him credit for having done that. But there is some method in Billy Donovan's madness right here. He's going to play the 3 guys against him and say, I don't know what Oden looks like playing 35 minutes in a game. He has never proven that he can do that, and I'm sure that's what Billy Donovan is trying to make him do tonight.
Maurice Spates is on him right now. His first action at the Final Four.
And he can commit 5 fouls.
Oden takes advantage of that matchup over the freshman from St. Petersburg, Florida.
But Billy Donovan's strategy is very clear. He is going to try to wear him down and try to get him to pick up a cheap foul.
You just wonder, can it get to the half with only 1? 1:38 to go. With 8 points after that shot. Horford left alone.
It's very difficult now. Oden is not sure whether he should go out on the hedge move or stand back, and that allows Horford to have a wide open, basically foul shot.
Rifles it, corner, Harris. And that's going to be on Speights, who just came in.
Now, one thing about Oden, he is a guy that can shoot some free throws. Made 16 straight fouls left-handed against Northwestern.
Helping soldiers phone home tomorrow how two teens saw a need and ended up touching the lives of thousands of U.S. troops and their families. CBS Evening News with Katie Couric. It's going to be a 1-and-1. So for the Buckeyes, their first free throw of the night comes with 1:18 left in the half. And they'll get one more.
Very nice rotation on the shot. To me, you know, Jim, he never complained a bit and just shot those shots left-handed with his free throws. Made no complaints. I've watched him work on it in practice, knowing that he was not going to be a left-handed free throw shooter once that right wrist was okay. But he really dedicated himself. Kind of a special kid.
And a 3.7 student also. Aaron Green, and that's a tough shot. He had guys flying past him.
That's the whole offense that Florida can run all night long. Oden is not going to come out to pick up that foul, and therefore the jump shot is going to be available to any Florida player that wants to take it.
Florida's hit its last 5 threes. Oh, goodness. And when he dunks it, he brings the rim to eye level every time.
Well, Speights just without much experience didn't know how to play that play. You've got to go ahead and let somebody shoot the ball. Make Oden go ahead and earn his.
And Oden better be careful. Speights. They'll go back out to Humphrey.
I'm surprised that Florida's not setting solid screens for Humphrey.
Chase down Butler. Saves it to Harris. Buckeyes can take the last shot. They're down 11.
Very important now. Conley is not in the game, so Butler takes over the point guard position. Normally what Conley would be doing.
Florida fans rise to their feet, wanting one last stand before the half. With 5 seconds, it's Butler using the glass, too strong. Speights pulls it down. Outlet, Brewer, he'll launch it. Midcourt. And we reach halftime of the championship game. Now, when they met 100 days ago, Ohio State came out. This was down at Gainesville and scored the first 9 of the second half. But also, a year ago, Humphrey, we saw it Saturday, he comes out ablaze to begin the second half, and Oden takes advantage right away, but Horford on his back.
Surprising, nobody doubling down. I think that once Oden starts to make his move, he's not going to pass that ball out. He'll pass it out quickly, but very seldom after he starts his move. Florida may have to start doubling down on him.
Noah, big step to the basket and a soft shot, his first basket of the game.
Harris has no defense against Noah when he backs him down inside and uses that little curl move. Look at this, Noah on Conley now, stays away from him.
Well, that's not a matchup you could have predicted.
Nope.
Now Lewis, outside the free throw line, hits the jumper.
Big shot for Lewis right there. Good step back jumper. Brewer normally pretty good at staying with a man on that, but was out of position there.
Harris tips it to Conley, up ahead Lewis. Watch out for the block. What a defender he is, but Lewis says, not this time.
That jump shot really helped Lewis a lot. First half, no activity from him at all. And Jim, prior to Saturday, he had 3 straight 20-plus point games. Huge lift for Ohio State. See, here's that play I'm talking about. If they do that for Humphrey, Humphrey's going to get a bunch of jump shots.
It's a jumper instead. Horford tipped out. Again, Harris.
Good block out.
Tips it over to Conley. Bounce pass inside to Harris. And the shot almost drops. That'll be the third on Noah.
Noah did not hustle back court. Harris did a tremendous job blocking him out on the other end and then just hustled down court to get over. I thought that we might have an opportunity there to see a block on Lewis, but Brewer never attempted. Just like in the first half, look at Noah breathing so heavily, Jim. He gets so emotionally fired up that sometimes I think he just needs to sit down to get his second breath.
So Harris to shoot 2. Again, that's the third on Noah. Thad Matta, head coach of the Buckeyes, trying to become the youngest head coach to win a championship since, can you believe this? Jim Valvano. 1983.
Right, Branch McCracken, the all-time youngest, one leading Indiana with a championship when he was just 31 years of age.
Harris 1 of 2. Brewer so quick. Lewis may have shoved him, got away with it, followed up by Richard.
Oden usually gets that rebound, but a good block out by Richard never allowed Oden to get to it.
First Florida dunk of the night. First basket for Richard. Coming off a 16 against UCLA.
Nice help by Horford, but nobody on Oden.
Harris had a great look there.
Should have
Wild with the shot.
Should have passed it. Oden was wide open inside.
Brewer up quick with it. And Harris races down to the other end to get the board. Conley with Brewer trying to defend. Too strong tap, no.
Conley keeps it alive.
On the floor, it's Florida.
No numbers.
Brewer trying to create and a reach-in call coming up against Butler.
Here we see, now there you see that Oden Richards did such a great job. Boy, he is powerful at about 275 pounds. Oden doesn't run into many guys on the college level that are that strong. Richard just blows his man out. That's a foul.
He was wide open.
Oh, well, the reason he was.
I know, he shoved the guy. I was about to say.
Shoved him. He almost took Lewis's head off. But again, Billy Donovan willing to use some fouls by Richard.
That's 3 on Richard, 3 on Noah. So it's getting a little serious over there, Billy.
Yeah, but they're wanting to wear Oden down and hope that he picks up one of those push fouls.
Butler is off the screen.
Very tough shot.
And Brewer pulls it down.
How about his versatility?
Yeah, he just can go so many ways. He's a great ball handler. There's a hold on Lewis.
Grab the shirt. Brewer's got his shirt out now. Let's see if the referee makes him put it in.
Yeah,
there he
exactly
did.
What he told him. Hodge comes back in.
You know, and it might have been the reason, Jim, for that foul. Brewer was trying to fight around, but the shirt got loose, and he just put his arm out and grabbed it.
Our partner Billy Packer doing a good job with the fashion police. Officials as well. Horford. Look right now, fires it. Got it.
Well, see, Oden is not going to come out. He's just going to camp down inside. Horford will get much more confidence on that shot, and he's going to start looking to take him. Comes the back end, but no double down. See this?
Horford blocks it. Oden the second time.
I'm really surprised from a scouting report